Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Mustafa Nasser again and you're watching Arabic Phonance. This is lesson number 3 of Arabic Essential Reading. In the previous lesson, we introduced the concept of sukoon or Arabic consonants. Today we will talk about duplication, whenever we have a duplicated or double letter within a word, or what we call in Arabic at-tashdid. Today's objectives will be, first, the concept of duplicates. We will explain what is duplication in Arabic, and I will make a little comparison between the duplication in English and in Arabic. Second, we will talk about duplicates against labels. What we will do whenever we have a duplicated letter and in the same time it's a vowel or has a label. Last, we will be having an application on duplication, which is solar and lunar lams, or what we call in Arabic اللام الشمسية واللام القمرية. It's the best application to study this duplication practically. Duplication. Nice. Okay, let's begin now. Okay, first I want to talk about duplication in English. What will happen whenever we have two identical letters, like this example, Muhammad. In English, we write it like this. As you can see, we have a duplicate here in the letter M. Muhammad. In English, we only double the letter. We make it double like this. Simple as that. What about in Arabic? Are we going to double the letter like here? No. Let me first translate this one in Arabic. Like this. And then I will give it its labels. The first one is labeled with Dhamma. This one, Fatha. This one, like this. We will explain it later. So, duplication in Arabic, it means whenever two identical letters come together, the first one is consonant, while the second one is a vowel. So, this one, this is the same. Originally, we will see two letters. Let me analyze this one. Let me separate them. Originally, it looks like this. Two M sounds, like in English. And as I said, the first one is consonant, which means it's labeled with sukoon, and the second one is a vowel. It's labeled with what? With fatha, as you see here. So whenever we read it, it will be Muhammad. This one is consonant. And then med, Muhammad. Let me even separate it more like this. This is the first one, and here the second one. So this is the consonant one, and here is the vowel. Muhammad, consonant, and then med, Muhammad. So what is happening here? How could we get this final shape? The first step, whenever we have something like that, is to join these two letters together, like this. This is the first what happened, okay? So we made it only one ma or one meme letter. Second, we will add the label for duplication. So we have a new label today. It looks like this. And we call it Shaddah. It looks like W letter in English, or like the first half of letter Se. Okay? This is the label for duplication, and we call it Shaddah. Shaddah, like this. Okay? So this is the second step. First, we join them together, integrate them together to be a single letter. Second, we will add the label for duplication. And third, what about the label of the letter itself? We have two letters. We have sukoon and fatha. Which one we're going to take? We will drop this sukoon, and then we will take this fatha to be here on top of Shaddah. So this is the final shape. Once you see this label on top of any letter, it means this letter is duplicated. Let me add it here. So in addition of these four labels, we have a new one today. Looks like this. It's called Shaddah. And it means that this letter is duplicated. You will be surprised when you know that even the word Shaddah itself, it contains Shaddah here. We have a duplication here in letter D. Let me write it down. We write it like this. Here we have Shaddah label. And as you can see, we have the label. So now we see two of them. The duplicate or the sign or the label for duplication together with the label which indicates which type of vowel this letter will be. And this is giving us or delivering us to the next important point, which is duplication or Shaddah will never replace the original sound or original label of the letter. Let me explain it more. So whenever we have a letter which is duplicated, which means it will be labeled with Shaddah, and at the same time is labeled with Fatha, how will it be? We will write Shaddah, and on top of Shaddah we will add Fatha. Okay, like we saw in this previous lesson, in this previous example, Muhammad, and also in this word, Shaddah. Okay, what if the letter is labeled, is duplicated, and in the same time is labeled with Dhamma? So we will do the same. We will add Shaddah, and on top we will add Dhamma. Okay, what about the last case? And you need to concentrate here. When the letter is duplicated and in the same time is labeled with Kasra. But here we have a confusion. This Shaddah usually it's put on top of the letter, while this Kasra is below the letter. How can we join them together? In this case, we will bring Kasra from below the letter to be below Shaddah. Okay? So this is the only case in which we will see Kasra on top of the letter. Like this example. Muallim. There is a duplication here. Letter La. Muallim. And as we can see, the Kasra is below Shaddah. It's supposed to be below the letter because this one originally like this. Lam. This first one is Sukun. Mual. And the second one is labeled with Kasra. Mualli. Muallim. So in this case, whenever we join them together, okay, so we move Kasra from below the letter to be below Shaddah, like this, okay? So now I think we have done with the first two objectives. Before we jump to the application of today's lesson, I want to give you an example and we will pronounce it the same way we did in the previous lesson. This is the example. Let me give it its labels. The first one is labeled with Fatha. The second one is duplicated and labeled with Fatha again. And the last one, I will leave it empty. But this one is a verb in past tense. And as I said in the previous lesson, usually past verbs are labeled with Fatha. So I will label it with Fatha now. Okay, let's analyze it. The first letter is equivalent to English S sound, right? This is the sound of the letter. As I said before, and I will repeat again, whenever you are pronouncing or reading any Arabic word, you have to spell every single letter in two types of pronunciation, or you have to show up two things for every single letter. First, its sound, the sound of the letter, then its label. Okay, now the sound of this letter, it's like S sound. What about the label, Fatha? Fatha means we will add A sound to the letter, so we will add it here. It becomes se, not th, but se. Okay. The second one. First, we will draw the sound of the letter. This one looks like L sound in English, right? Second, we will move to the duplication or Shaddah. This one means this letter is duplicated. So I will duplicate the sound. And lastly, we will check the label. Here is Fatha, which means we will add a sound. So we add a sound. Okay? The last one is me, is equivalent to M sound in English. Now spell each letter alone and then spell them all together. So I'm going to pronounce this one with sukoon, okay? Se, le, se, le, sellem, selle, sellem, okay? Sellem. In case we use this one within a sentence, this fatha label will be obvious. So it will be sallama, sallama, sallama. Okay? Now let's move to the application we have today. Okay, solar and lunar lam, or al-lam al-shamsiyya wal-lam al-qamariyya. So why did we call it in the first place al-lam al-shamsiyya and al-lam al-qamariyya? Al-shamsiyya for the word shams, which means a sun. That's why we call it solar. And al-qamariyya for the word qamar, which means a moon. Okay? So what's happening here? We have two groups of letters. The Arabic alphabet is divided into equally groups of letters. The first one contains 14 letters and the second one contains 14 letters also. So the first group, you call it solar letters, al-huruf al-shamsiyya. And the second one, we call it lunar letters, al-huruf al-qamariyya. What's happening exactly? Whenever a word starts with one of these group, the solar group, it will act differently from the other group. When this behavior will show up, it will show up only whenever we add the definite article to any one of these words. Let me give you an example. For example, this word, sun. This is indefinite, means a sun, okay? What if I want to define this word? I will add the definite article, right? The sun, right? Sun in Arabic means shams. And the labels for this word, this one is labeled with fatha, she. And this one is labeled with sukoon. Shams means a sun. It's indefinite. And as you can see, the first letter in this word belongs to the first group of letters, the solar letters. So what's happening here? As long as this one is one of the solar, this behavior will only happen whenever we add the definite article. Definite article in Arabic is a 2 letters prefix. Looks like this. El. The first one is labeled with fatha, and this one is labeled with sukoon. El. So I want to say the sun. So I will add el before this word. So as we said, the first one is labeled with fatha and this one is labeled with sukoon. What's happening here? First, as long as this one, the first letter of the word, is one of the solar letters, al-huruf al-shamsiyya, the first thing, whenever we add el, this one will be duplicated. So we will add shaddah here. Okay? This one will be duplicated. And second, this lam will be silent. We will never read it, we will never pronounce it. So it becomes like this, the final shape. This one is duplicated and this one is sukoon. And this one, as we said, is silent. We're not going to pronounce it. Let us break it down. The first one, as we did before, the first one is a, right? A letter. And is labeled with fatha. Okay? Now the second one, this letter is equivalent to the sound SH in English, sh. And because it's duplicated, so we will duplicate the sound. And it's labeled with fatha, so we add a. Then this one, sukoon, so only the sound of the letter. And lastly, this one is also consonant because we stop here. So it will be like this. How we pronounce it? Ash, ash, ash-shams. We didn't pronounce this la. We didn't say al-shams. We said ash-shams, ash-shams. So this sha is one of the solar letters. Any word that starts with sha or any other word or any other letter of solar will follow the same behavior. Whenever we add L, the first letter will be duplicated and then this la of L will be silent. Okay, let's now move to the second example, which is Al-Lamu al-Qamariyya. Al-Lamu al-Qamariyya, it's for the word Qamar, which means a moon. Again, Qamar is indefinite. Okay, means moon. Now, this behavior will never show up. It only shows up whenever we add the definite article in Arabic, al. It's a suffix, okay? So let's add it and see what's going to happen here with this word. Al. Here, whenever we add the definite article, nothing is going to happen. Like the previous example, nothing is going to happen. So we will read this word normally. Let me break it down. This a, and again the label gives us a sound again. The second one, la, now it will show up. It will not hide like in solar example. Then this one is equivalent to Q sound in English, approximately. And then the label is fatha. Sorry, this one's supposed to be fatha. The label is fatha, which means we add a. Now, this one is M sound. And again, we add a. And lastly, we have this letter, which is ra. Al-Qamar. Al-Qamar. This one, it will not be duplicated. It is the same. Here is labeled with fatha. Here is labeled with fatha. And this one also, it will be obvious in pronunciation. Okay? I hope you get it right. The 14 solar letters and the 14 lunar letters, I will never mention them here. But instead of that, I mentioned them in the PDF of this lesson. So make sure to download the PDF file of this lesson from the link in the video description. I mentioned all solar letters or al-huruf al-shamsiyya together with lunar sentence. And also I have mentioned one example for each single letter. So here what you're going to do, you're going to read every single word one time before you add L and another time after you add L. I hope you get the point from this lesson. Please, if you have any question or confusion, ask me a question in the comments. And you are also welcome to join our Facebook group. We have a weekly online lecture on Zoom meeting. Make sure to join us. See you in the next lesson.